How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to be speaking about Arsenal, and it looks like there's been a breakthrough and Arsenal players will take a wage cut. We're also going to be speaking about Newcastle and the possibility of Rafa Benitez returning to Tyneside. And we're also going to be speaking about women's football, because there's been a report that states that women's football is in real danger because of the coronavirus pandemic.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place we're going to start is Arsenal, and the news that broke yesterday evening from David Ornstein, that they may well have got the breakthrough with the wage cut. And Arsenal may well be the very first team in the Premier League for their players to take an actual wage cut. There's been a lot of reports and a lot of talks over the last few days as to whether they will or won't they. But it looks like there has been a breakthrough. And one of the reasons for that is because Mikel Arteta has apparently got involved. And it's been his intervention that's actually getting this deal over the line. The report goes on to say that Arsenal are close to becoming the first Premier League club to reach an agreement with their players about a wage cut amounting to 12.5% per month, according to David Ornstein and The Athletic. The breakthrough is believed to have come following a crucial intervention from boss Mikel Arteta, who spoke to his players on Wednesday night. The cuts, which the majority of the squad have agreed to, will vary depending on whether Arsenal qualify for next year's Champions League, and will reportedly be deducted monthly from now until March 2021. That's good already, I can say that much. But it is also understood the proposal will see the club extend the reimbursement agreement so that players would get their money back if they qualify for the Champions League inside the next 2 seasons. The development represents a sudden turnaround from the squad's initial rejection of the club's original proposal of 12.5% cut for an entire year. As of the weekend, Gunners players were against accepting pay cuts but were open to considering wage deferrals, though these were growing hope behind the scenes that squad members were coming round to the idea of the former. The report, however, states that it is unclear how the players who rejected the latest proposal, which is yet to be formally signed off by all involved, will be affected. The pressure on players to accept reductions increased on Wednesday when the executive team, including the likes of Raul Sanelli, had volunteered to take a pay cut of more than a third. So, yeah, I was saying this yesterday with the Daily Show that maybe, the revelation about the directors and whatnot could have actually forced the player's hand. Looking into this report a little bit more deeply, it looks like Mikel Arteta and Hector Bellerin have been very influential in, the negotiations and everything else. And you've got to remember there's a very, very big difference between a wage cut and a deferral. And it looks like there's a few incentives in place. Get back in the Champions League, you can get your money back. So that kind of side of things is good because there's the incentive. But the amount of money that this will save Arsenal is absolutely massive. When you think about 12.5% per month, when you look at the high wage bill already, the knock-on effect though means that, we're probably not going to be giving any players any contract extensions and higher wages and whatnot. Not if we're in the process of doing this. So what does that mean for Aubameyang? Do we let him see out his final season? Does he go? Do we cash in? It's going to be very interesting. And no doubt the players would have wanted to know where that money's going. That it's not just going to go straight into the back pocket of Stan Kroenke. And it's going to go to the right people in the right places. And ultimately, some of it's going to be invested into, the team and to strengthen. As to how that team will be strengthened, we don't know. And no doubt in due course we'll find out in terms of, what kind of budget Mikel Arteta might have or might not have. But for now, it looks very much like the Arsenal players have, finally agreed to take this wage cut. Like I've always said, there's a lot involved in this. It's not just a matter of all turning up and going, yeah, it's all right, just take my wages off and cut it and whatever. Players live within their means. They get paid a lot of money, but they also pay out a lot of money, including tax. So we need to remember that as well. So yeah, it's, for all intents and purposes, looks really good. There's no official confirmation or anything else, but it looks like this well could be done. And when official confirmation is out there, I for one will be very, very happy with it. First team in the Premier League to do it, and it remains to be seen whether other clubs may now follow suit, but we will wait and see. Next report goes to Newcastle, and of course I was speaking a few days ago about the takeover and Newcastle looking like they might finally get rid of Mike Ashley. Well, already there's talk about the managerial situation. Newcastle manager Steve Bruce is not expected to last much longer at the club when Mike Ashley finally manages to sell up. It is reported that PCP Capital Partners, headed by Amanda Staveley and backed by the Saudi Royal Family Public Investment Fund, is on the verge of completion, and all that's left is ratification from the Premier League. As the two parties wait for Premier League approval, speculation has already started regarding Bruce's future at the club if a takeover goes through. Betfair already have Bruce at 4-11 to be sacked before the start of next season, with the incoming owners expected to launch an ambitious rebuild of the club over the summer. The 59-year-old has delivered acceptable results at Newcastle this season, guiding them to 13th place. But of course, they've been pretty hard to watch at times. While Bruce has received mixed reviews from supporters, there can be no doubt about the continued affection towards their previous manager, Rafa Benitez. Indeed, Paddy Power has the Spaniard at 3-1 favourite to return for a second spell at the club following his departure to Chinese super club Dalian Yingfang last summer. So yeah, look, it's one of those. There's going to be a lot of speculation with Newcastle looking like they're going to be taken over, the kind of money that will go in. I've seen names like Massimo Allegri, for example, being mentioned, Maurizio Pochettino. And then, of course, Rafa Benitez. He's got the pedigree, he's got the background, and he knows Newcastle. And like the report was saying, the Geordies are very, affectionate about Rafa Benitez. And I don't think many of them would be, too upset with him returning. But with the kind of money that they're talking about, maybe the Geordies are looking a little bit higher than that. And maybe they're looking for one of those kind of names that none of us expect. And, especially not a couple of months ago, any of us were expecting that with Newcastle. We thought this kind of deal was dead in the water and it wasn't going to happen, but it looks like it is. And all it needs is ratification from the Premier League. And Newcastle could well be one of these sides that are going to buy their way to the top. And another side that's going to be a worry for teams like Arsenal, Manchester United, etc. So very interesting, and we'll find out what happens in due course. Last report today speaks about the women's game, and this report speaks about the risk of players losing their livelihood. And it says that many female footballers are at risk of losing their livelihoods due to football global shutdown caused by the coronavirus pandemic. And this report is according to Players Union FIFPro. The report said specific measures were needed to help women's football during the crisis, which has brought world sport to a standstill and caused the postponement of major international events, including the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Otherwise, it said, the women's game could be facing an almost extinct threat. That's pretty bad when you think about that. In the report, FIFPro said women's football was especially exposed to the crisis due to its less established professional leagues, lower salaries, narrower scope of opportunities, uneven sponsorship deals, and less corporate investment. So I see exactly what they're saying there. There's less investment, there's less professional players. It's a lot more difficult than, the men's game, should we say. And there's a real possibility that there could be real struggles for the women's game. And that's quite a shame, to be honest with you, because in recent years, they've made leaps and bounds within the women's game. And, you know, they're really starting to get recognition now in terms of what they do and what they're able to achieve. So this would be a massive step back if this causes these kind of problems. But hopefully, as with all sport, things will start to get back to normal eventually and they will be able to recover. I think they will. But of course, there is the sense of worry and everything else. But there's a worry throughout the world with all kinds of sport, jobs and anything in particular. So yeah, there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. I'll see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.